Hello to all my dear followers, and welcome back to Whispers of Turkish Stars. I'm thrilled you're here, because today we're unpacking a moment that has taken over timelines, group chats, and every fan page you can imagine. You saw the title and you already know the heartbeat of tonight's story. Barış says to Yağmur, "I'll find you." His secret revealed. We're going to pull the thread on that single sentence and see what unravels. Intentions, emotions, consequences, and the ripple effect on one of the most closely watched pairs of the moment. If you love a blend of tenderness and tension, if you're drawn to the drama behind the velvet curtain, you are in the right place. And before we dive into the thick of it, a quick reminder: subscribing to Whispers of Turkish Stars is the best way to make sure you never miss our deep dives. It's easy, it's free, and it keeps this community buzzing. Tap that button and turn on notifications so you're the first to catch our next reveal. So, what exactly happened? The phrase "I'll find you" has echoed across social media like a bell. It's more than a pretty line, it's a promise that can sound like a vow or a challenge, depending on how it reaches your ears. In the world of Barış Baktas and Yağmur Yüksel, those 4 words landed with the weight of a dozen confessions. Are we hearing the pledge of a man who refuses to let love slip away? Are we catching the determination of someone ready to break past all the noise and meet the truth face to face? The implications feel as big as their names. For anyone somehow not already invested, let's set the stage. Barış and Yağmur have, in recent months, become symbols of a connection that fans can't stop dissecting. Their glances at industry events, their careful silences in interviews, the way their worlds keep intersecting, every micro-expression is replayed and studied. And then, in the middle of this collective curiosity, came those words. For many, they marked a line in the sand. Let's look at setting. Some say the phrase dropped on a set, wrapped inside a scene, a line that might have been meant for a character but felt like it belonged to the man. Others swear it emerged at a public event, the kind of night that makes cameras hungry and whispers grow teeth. There are those who insist it happened in a private exchange overheard by accident, the sort of leak that makes a whole fandom hold its breath. Where it came from matters. If it was scripted, we're in the realm of craft, a performance engineered to pull heartstrings. If it was real, unscripted, and spoken by Barış to Yağmur, then we're looking at something else entirely, a turning point dressed as a sentence. Here's the tension that always lives around actors and public figures. Chemistry on screen can reach out into real life and tug at what's possible. The public learns to read every synergy as a clue, and sometimes the border between fiction and reality becomes a mist. That's why "I'll find you" carries so much force. Embedded in it is the idea of distance, of something misplaced, of a path that needs to be walked. It implies purpose. It implies a search. And it implies a decision to close a space that has grown too wide. One interpretation is the romantic one, the one many of you are already rooting for. Imagine a disagreement, mismatched schedules, a cloud of gossip that won't lift. Imagine the weight it puts on 2 people already living under bright lights. In that world, Barış saying "I'll find you" sounds like courage. It sounds like a man refusing to let a misunderstanding grow into a goodbye. In the unpredictable circles of show business, where flights leave at dawn, where scenes run late, where everyone has an opinion, the sentence can be a life raft flung across the water. It whispers, no matter the chaos, "I'm coming for you." It's a promise to fight for something true. But the phrase did not arrive alone. The words in the title, "His Secret Revealed," have carved an even deeper groove into the story. What could be wrapped inside that secret? Perhaps this isn't only about reaching her. Perhaps it's also about owning something hidden. Maybe the search isn't just for Yağmur, but for honesty. Maybe it's the truth he needed to say before anything between them could be real again. Or perhaps it's the truth he discovered about her situation, information that changed everything and demanded action. The notion of a revealed secret raises the stakes. It suggests an obstacle that has not been publicly named, a wall that couldn't be seen until it was felt. If Barış carried a secret, something that explains a cold patch, a late-night silence, or a vanishing act, then "I'll find you" sounds like the first step in making amends. It says, "I won't hide anymore, and I won't let you walk away without knowing what really happened." There's also an angle of agency here, an element of power reclaimed. If Yagmur had begun to pull back, if disappointment had settled like fog, then his words become the opposite of passivity. Without aggression, without spectacle, they signal intent. I won't wait for fate to decide this. I will go to you. It reframes the narrative from drifting to pursuing. And if the declaration truly came alongside a confession, then we might be watching a man ready to take accountability for the tremors their relationship felt. What, then, could the secret be? The guesses are endless, and that is exactly why the internet can't sleep. It could be a career decision kept quiet to protect negotiations. It could be something from the past resurfacing in the worst possible moment. It might be the truth behind a rumor that never made sense, an agreement misunderstood, or a whisper blown out of proportion by people who needed a story. Think of the forces that stalk famous couples: conflicting schedules, contracts that separate, press that distorts, third parties who add static. If the revealed secret lives in any of those corners, then I'll find you as paired with a resolution. To bring clarity to what was cloudy and to stand shoulder to shoulder with her once everything is out in the open. We can't ignore the possibility that some of this heat was by design. In the entertainment sphere, narratives can be nurtured in the shadows, carefully positioned to keep the public hooked. A word here, a gesture there, a silence that arrives exactly on time. Even if a storyline was crafted, even if timing was strategic, the echo of those 4 words isn't less potent. A phrase can be both part of a calculated rollout and an authentic reflection of 2 hearts in motion. The craft and the feeling can coexist. Let's talk tone, because delivery transforms meaning. Imagine a video where the line falls in a corridor, soft but unmissable. Is the voice steady, like someone who knows what he wants? Is there a quiver that betrays late nights and unspoken apologies? Was it laced with defiance, as if daring distance to do its worst? Or was it touched with tenderness, a promise folded into the hush of a moment no one was supposed to hear? Body language matters. A glance can be a paragraph. A pause can be an admission. If I'll find you arrived during tension, it can sound like a declaration of emotional battle, one man against all the misunderstandings. If it arrived in quiet, it can feel like an oath of unconditional care. And what about the reveal? His secret revealed suggests that the truth either came from him or emerged through him. It could be personal, something held back out of fear or pride. It could be practical, something tied to work, to contracts, to timing. It could be shared, something both new in fragments but only now fits. If he went looking for answers, if he gathered facts like breadcrumbs, then the phrase is the moment he decides to bring what he knows to the one person who deserves to hear it first. Picture a possible sequence. Maybe a misunderstanding pushed Yagmur away, not dramatically, but in small degrees that matter. Maybe a rumor woven from half-truths wrapped itself around her trust. Then, imagine Barış tracing the rumor to its source, finding receipts, messages, or details that flip the narrative on its head. He realizes that unless he speaks, the silence will say something false forever. So he makes a choice. He goes after her. Across a crowded premiere, through a parking lot after a shoot, or even to a different city where a set is lit from dawn to dusk. I'll find you becomes a promise to close the distance with the truth in his pocket. Or picture this. He's just landed after a long flight. His phone is full of questions from friends, advice he didn't ask for, headlines that feel like they're written in a funhouse mirror. He steps into the night air and makes the call that should have been made days ago. No speeches, no theatrics. Just 4 words that carry their shared history on their back. The fan impact is massive. People who have applauded their appearances, who have celebrated their triumphs, want their happiness to be more than a photo. They want endurance. When a line like this surfaces, with the scent of a buried truth attached, it pulls everyone closer. Theories multiply. Edits get made. Threads spiral into the early morning, each fan adding a piece of personal belief to the puzzle. The story stops being just about them and becomes something larger, about the way love tries to survive when the world won't stop watching. Social media does what it always does. A sentence becomes 1,000 angles. Some capture the romance, some freeze the resolve, some linger on the secret like it's a character of its own. The virality is a lesson in how stories travel now faster than clarity, faster than context. But it also reveals how deeply these two have connected with an audience. Not because we know everything about them, but because we feel that there is something real worth protecting. So what is the truth behind Barış's words to Yağmur? I'll find you. His secret revealed. Maybe the answer is layered. Maybe it's a knot of dedication, honesty, and the need to stop letting other people write their ending. What's undeniable is that the phrase hit a nerve. It made people pause. It made them hope. It made them ask if healing is possible when both sides decide to say what matters without filters. Step into his perspective for a moment. To speak those words is to choose a direction. It signals that waiting is no longer an option, that uncertainty has had enough time at the table. You say I'll find you when you intend to deliver yourself to the conversation that changes everything. From her side, hearing it and then hearing the truth that follows must have been a storm of emotion. Relief battling with caution, affection with pain, a heart wanting to believe while a mind demands evidence. It's the moment when the past and the future meet in a quiet hallway and ask each other what comes next. At the core, this line, paired with the revelation, frames a journey rather than a single scene. Whether it unfolded as lived reality or as a perfectly calibrated public beat, the story it tells is the same. People reaching for one another in the mess, choosing to face the unvarnished truth rather than the comfortable rumor. It's a story about refusing to let silence be the loudest part of a relationship. There's a reason the simplest words often carry the deepest meanings. I'll find you doesn't beg. It doesn't blame. It doesn't try to win with volume. It asserts intent with humility. It promises action without spectacle. And when you place a secret next to it, especially one finally brought into the light, you get a portrait of two people navigating the hardest terrain of all, the space between pride and forgiveness. As we wrap this exploration, here's what we can say with confidence. That sentence, breathed or declared, folded into quiet or set against noise, captures an inflection point for Barış Baktas and Yağmur Yüksel. It suggests a fight worth having, a truth worth telling, a path worth walking twice if that's what it takes. It invites reconciliation or, at the very least, clarity. And it reminds all of us that behind the appearances and the edits are human hearts doing their clumsy, valiant best. Thank you for staying with me through this deep dive. I hope you felt the pulse of the story the way I did. Now I want to hear from you. What do you believe lived inside that promise? What secret do you think stood between them, and how do you imagine it was revealed? Drop your theories in the comments. I read them, I debate them, and this community lives for your insights. If you enjoyed this analysis, if it made you lean closer to the screen even once, give this video a like and share it with someone who keeps up with every twist of their saga. And if you haven't joined us yet, subscribe to Whispers of Turkish Stars and hit the bell so you never miss what comes next. More stories, more secrets, more moments that make us feel, coming soon. Until then, take care, and I'll see you in the next one.